Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And for all the new players who've just started and have never seen this before, this is Heroes Jubilee, and this is our game's monthly ranking event where the big time whales and the people who have a lot of units can test these units out and try and compete with one another to get the highest score possible. Jubilee consists of a number of different fights where your entire goal is to get the highest score. The normal battles, these first one, two, and three, they are giveaway stages. But then the next two, or next three, expert stages right here, they're meant to have very specific teams used to get the maximum score, which requires you to kill in 3 turns. It requires you to take less than like 10 points of damage total, and it requires you to do 1.4 million damage in 3 turns. So, no, new players are not going to be able to get anywhere close to that, but I'm just informing you of what the maximum requirements are. You can go past that. Like, you can take 5 or 8 turns to do them. You won't get a super high score, but it's not really that big a deal because it's not like you actually have options to get a super high score. Once you finish with the 3 normal expert stages, you move on to the boss fights. And this is where whatever team is being pushed for whatever month really shines. So right now we got the antagonist meta, Emils, Shinsha, Kyokyo, I'm going to call them that because I piss people off, and Isis. That team is meant to be used in this boss fight. The best team is light and magic. You're fighting 3 enemies, so it's meant to have an AoE nuking character, which is Shinsha, and Emils helps you do extra damage against dark enemies. So they are very much the best team to use here with the best support units. The second fight normally would still be geared to the antagonist team, but they did a funny, and they released that weird Guy and Millum banner that don't have anything to do with the antagonist meta, but they've built one of the stages around that team, so they've kind of flipped it. So light magic here, dark magic there. They normally don't do this, but it's a thing. So it's a single target fight. They want you to nuke with the new Millum, and you're fighting just Benimaru there. So it's multiple fights of trying to get the highest score possible. And possible as in whatever you, as a new or medium experienced player, can accomplish. And you are rewarded for your score in 2 different ways. There's an overall score that puts you against the entirety of your server, whether it be the North America server, the Asia, the Europe, or the Japanese server. And God help you if you're on the Japanese server. And then it also has a group ranking where it's you and like 150 to 200 other people within whatever server you're on, and it's completely random. So you're competing against people who might not be big time whales or sweaty tryhards. You might be in a group full of casual players who don't really care that much. And this is where your magic crystal rewards are going to come in. And this is why, as a new player, even though you don't have the very specific teams required to max these fights out, it's important that you at least attempt these fights and get some kind of score. It doesn't matter if it's 5,000 points instead of 110,000. Get a score, because that will guarantee that you get some kind of ranking reward. And some reward is better than no reward. And again, like, you don't have to do very well in this event. If we look at the reward list, this is the overall rankings, the global rankings. This is the new crystals, platinum hammers, the ingots for unions, which you probably don't have access to yet, and then blueprints that are cosmetic only. And then the group rankings are where you get crystals and potions and guaranteed 5-star tickets. And even if you don't do super great, like, you could do all the stages, you could probably get rank 151 and you can get 20 crystals for it. Like, it's 20 more than what you had prior to doing this. And the higher you go, the more crystals you get, up to 600. And if you get lucky and you're in a group of not people who don't really care, you can get fairly high, actually. I've seen people that are 100% free to play and don't really play that often. They get rank 20s in their group ranking. 400 crystals, 4 guaranteed 5-star tickets. It's important that you at least attempt these fights because you will get a reward. and a reward is better than no reward. So I'm going to have videos going out over the next couple of days showing off teams that you can use to get scores and the max scores for these fights, and then the boss fights will be their separate videos. The normal fight should come out on Saturday, and the boss battles should come out on Sunday. So, look at them, see what I'm doing with my teams and what you're meant to do, and then build upon that. Use your own teams. I have disclaimers that's like, hey, yeah, you might not have the options. You got to substitute some in. Do your best, at least understand how this fight is meant to work, and try your best. It's only here for 5 days, which is why I'm pushing this more than like the new unit showcases. So it's not here for very long. And if you really don't give a shit, you could do every fight once and then you never have to touch it again, right? You could do 8 fights in total, and it costs 5 stamina a fight, so it's not really that intensive either. And then you can move on to doing your event stories, or your training quests, or your normal story, or Tower of Isis, or Crucible, or Conquest. Like, there's so many things that new players can do right now. Just get the fights out of Jubilee out of the way, and you don't have to think about it again for another month, because it happens once a month. But that's what Jubilee is. It's just a way to use units to do as much damage as possible, to get a high score, to whip the ruler out and claim that you are the best on your server and you're the best in your group, and congratulations to you all. But apart from that, it has very low bearing on a new player, because they just simply don't have access to the teams and the units that are going to be able to get super great scores in this. So is that a good explanation of Jubilee? I don't know. I think it's a very basic overview. Again, I'm going to have videos going over each individual fight coming out over the next couple of days, so you can see that. But other than that, there's not much to it. You do the fights, you get rewards, and you leave. So hopefully this educates you a little bit. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.